for this cookbook lab is called Falling Lemon. So it's a very simple demonstration for the students, to the students, on explaining the lesson about the Isaac Newton laws of motion, which involve inertia. So for this, the students would need the following material to do the lab: is a card folded into a triangle column and must be taped securely. A piece of card, a small object that is big enough to sit on top of the column, and a pint of glass. So the instruction for this lab is that you must place the A5 sheet of card on top of the pint of glass. Then carefully put the triangular column on the card. Next, balance the lemon on top of the column, and it needs to be directly above the glass. That's very important. In addition, they can hold the glass with one hand and then quietly and quickly pull the A5 card with the other hand. And the result should show that once you pull the card, the lemon should drop into the glass. So this lab basically is demonstrating the laws of motion. The first law of the motion of Isaac Newton that describe about the inertia. A specific object that when the object stays still or keep moving at the same speed and in a straight line, it is acted upon the force. So in simple terms, we can say that if an object isn't moving, then it won't start to move unless a force make it move. So this is Isaac Newton's first law, and that is known as the law of inertia. So what I discovered from the inquiry analysis tool with this lab is not much that we can explain that is a very successful lab that we can use for students to generate or open their mind. Only two questions that really gave us a reason for them to give a good relation with the inquiry analysis tool, which is do students use their sense and instrument to collect evidence? We can see they use observation skill to see that. Also, are students encouraged to provide preliminary explanation? So in a way, they generate questions in themselves once they seen how the lab was demonstrated. So, what are some ways that I can modify the cookbook into inquiry? One thing is before starting the lab, demonstrating the lab to the students, you want to have the students predict what will happen if you pull a piece of card. They will have them to guess the outcome of what would happen by pulling the card, what will happen to the lemon, the card, or other material that is demonstrating there. Also, after demonstrating the lab, have the student wonder about. So in the way that we can do that is have them to observe what did they notice when the card was pulled, or formulate a question about any problem that they have seen in this lab. Also, you want to have students to explain their reason through model on what is causing the lemon to land inside the glass. And to do that, we can have them to do a diagram or any other form of picture to see what are they thinking about when when the lab was demonstrated to them. Another thing is to investigate. So you want to have students to come up with their own inertial law in motion. And by doing that is with using different materials. So you want to have them to formulate, copy this type of lab, but in different other forms of it. For example, they can use a tablecloth with plates, or instead of using a lemon, they can use a hard boiled egg. And in addition, you want to generate questions about other factors that can affect the lemon in this law of motion. For example, they can use different mass or material, right? So go back to investigating. So formulating questions that what will happen if the weight of the material are different. So what if the the product that is used to hold the triangular column was a lot heavier than the cardboard. Would there be any difference? So this will help students to formulate questions, an idea for them to figure out what other factor can an effect of this lab based on the law of inertia.